So, how do we apply statistical techniques? How do we extract features from text? So, let us say we take each document or each text in our collection, and we have already built this matrix of all the significant terms, all the terms that are of interest. A term may be a single word or a phrase, and we count how many times that occurs. That is called the term frequency, right? Then we do something called the document frequency, right? In how many documents this particular word occurs, not term frequencies, how many times the term occurs within a single document. Now, if I see in what percentage of documents the term occurs, that is document frequency. I might also consider the length of the document, because longer documents will have higher term frequencies. The longer documents will naturally have more occurrences of that same term. So, we will have to normalize for the document length. So, these are some of the operations that we apply. Right? And at the language and content analysis level, I might do some lexical and syntactic processing. Lexical means referring to the dictionary, right? If there is a lexicon, then I might recognize tokens using the lexicon. I might normalize the words, like I said, using morphological rules, right? And stemming, as the operation is called, I might reduce it to its normal form or its root form, and then I can apply parts of speech and other language specific techniques for doing processing at the lexical and grammatical or syntactic level. Similarly, at the semantic level, I can look for a particular sense of the word, or I can look up a thesaurus and find synonym sets of synonyms from WordNet, or I can do some other kind of thesaurus lookup, synonyms, antonyms, all of that, or I might even substitute some standard synonym for the particular word. I might recognize names of people, companies, and so on, and do extra semantic feature analysis as well, for example, sentiments. At the syntactic processing level, right, I can recognize word boundaries, and which is fairly simple in English, but in some other languages there are no word boundaries, right? So, some forms of languages like the language of Thailand, there is no white space, they write continuously. Some of the older texts also used to be written in that form. Then just word segmentation is a big challenge, similar to speech processing and so on. Or we might do some grammatical constructs. We might construct a parse tree using a grammar and phrase recognition. All of these techniques may be applied. Named entity recognition is a well developed technique. There are good algorithms for doing this in languages like English, at least, where there's a big help. Names are usually capitalized. Initial capitals help us recognize names. So, you can recognize people names, company names, geographic location names, for which now databases are available. You can look up the GeoNames database to get the all place names in the world. You might recognize dates, date format, dollar, rupee, euro amounts, monetary amounts, or any other domain specific kind of. You might want to recognize temperatures or any other measures of numerical quantities. Right? So, extra semantic information, primarily sentiment analysis. Right? So, suppose it says customer is unhappy with this service. So, this shows a negative sentiment and a particular sentiment, namely discontent. Right? So, sentiments refer to emotions like hate, like, dislike, fear, love, sorrow, and so on. Feelings of warmth and excitement, mood, disposition, temperament, etc. So, all of these have very practical implications, business implications in today's world of social media and electronic commerce. So, we do that. There's a sentiment dictionary you can have, where some words indicate positive sentiments, others indicate negative sentiment, and then you aggregate the sentiments at various levels, sentence level, paragraph level, or the entire text and message level, to arrive, and then apply statistical analysis on that to arrive at sentiment scores. If on the other hand you are trying to classify the text, right, either a binary classification, for example, spam versus non-spam, or some other more complex classification and routing problem, then right you have to do this featureization in somewhat different ways. Right? So for example, if you are using a package like Spark, you might get some built-in features for doing this, or the NLTK library in Python, then you get features for doing all of these things. You can look for and process particular regular expressions. You have something called vectorizers, count vectorizer, TF, IDF. So let's look at some of these techniques to understand what they are. Right? So count vectorizer essentially converts the document into a vector. What is that vector made up of? It's made up of terms. A term may be a token, a word, a phrase, or whatever named entity that has been recognized, and then the value of that will be the frequency of occurrence of that term. So you get what is called a term frequency vector. Right? So the count vectorized model, so it indicates the document is converted to a vector of tokens and counts, which is basically the term frequency. So it produces a sparse representation. So now you have data in the form of a set of vectors, one for each text, and you have now, right? So you can do various filtering operations on that, limit the vocabulary size, take a minimum count, and so on, to reduce the length of those vectors, that is to ignore less frequent terms, if that is what meaningful to do in that particular context. There's a very powerful older technique called TF-IDF, term frequency inverse document frequency, that yields good results in many cases. So the term frequency, right, what we have been saying is the number of times the term occurs within the document. But the idea here is we also need to look at the inverse document frequency, that is in how many documents it occurs. A word that occurs in every document is not very relevant if you are doing something like classification or routing. Right? On the other hand, a word that occurs very frequently within a document but rarely across documents is a very significant aspect, a feature of that particular text. So that is more critical. So the TF-IDF technique captures this to transform the term vectors that you have extracted in a way that the overall text analytics or mining results will be better. So term frequency is a measure of the relative importance of a term in the document. Right? So it's the frequency of that term divided by the number of terms in the document. So if your document has 100 words and this particular term apple occurs 8 times, then its term frequency is 8%, 0.08. Right? Now, inverse document is how important it is to the entire collection, not that particular document. Right? So it is usually calculated as the logarithm of total divided by this. So if you have, for example, 6 million documents in your collection and the word apple occurs in 6,000 of those, so 6 million divided by 6,000, you take a log of that, log 1000 is 3. So your IDF score is now 3. So if if apple were to occur in every document, then its IDF score would be, right, 0, close to 0. If it occurs in very few documents, its IDF score would be higher. That is the idea. So a word that occurs rarely gets a higher IDF score. So we calculate the TF-IDF score by multiplying the TF score and the IDF score. In this, in our example, that is 8%, 0.08 into 3 or 0.24. So although its term frequency is only 8%, we raise it to 24% because the word apple did not occur in all the documents. Only 1 in 1,000 document in our collection mentioned apple. So therefore we raise it threefold and we increase its importance. That is how the TF-IDF technique works. So it penalizes words that are more frequent across documents and gives more weight to the ones that are less frequent across document, but it's frequent in this particular document. So similarly, you might do stop word removal. So you have a standard list of closed class words like prepositions, articles, and so on. It's like is, was, a, and, the, of, by, and so on. In many cases, you may want to remove them, but these are, I am simplifying things because they may be part of a phrase in which it is significant, and so you need to take care of all those different kinds of complexities that are common when you are dealing with text processing. And finally, you might do something like normalization for the length of the document, or you might also apply something like Mahalanobis distance across features, where if the range of values for one feature is 100 times greater than another, then you do need to normalize along each dimension. So you can normalize using such statistical techniques. You can also normalize using language specific techniques, for example in terms of the length of documents. So essentially what we have looked at here is basically a broad exposure to the variety of techniques and the very important applications of text analytics and text processing. If you are interested, you can explore and do projects in text analytics, classification, spam detection, text routing, sentiment analysis, recommendation systems, all of these to understand text analytics further.